Sean Lennon here, Fightlete Report. It is February 3rd, and right here on Talkin Shop, we got Mike Straus joining us, coming back into the MMA game, if you will. Writer for Low Kick MMA, among other MMA websites. We appreciate you being back on the Fightlete Report. Just give us a quick recap, what you're doing to get yourself back in the game.
Well, I haven't been doing too much yet as of yet, man. Yeah, I haven't really been I went on a couple of your shows and kind of just playing with the idea of getting back, getting more seriously back into it. I have a video multimedia production company I've been getting going. I've been doing that. So
Nice.
just trying to find the time to get back into it,
Yeah, for sure, man. There's no rush, but what a time to be into UFC. I mean, we just had UFC 257, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. Who did you have going into the fight, and why?
I had Dustin Poirier round 2 TKO. I pretty
Wow.
much called it exactly. My reasons were, I think we talked about it. I think Conor is extremely overrated. He's got one win at 155 pounds. Since they fought 6 years ago at 145 pounds, their careers have went in two drastically different directions, as we've seen. I think Dustin Poirier is legit one or two best in the world, and I think Conor McGregor is top 20, and we saw that. I really said I held off to making my prediction until the week of the fight because I wanted to see how Poirier was going to handle it mentally. Right. Because if Conor can't get under your skin, he can't beat you. Because in the UFC, when you have your skills are pretty even, he needs to be able to get inside someone's head to beat them at this level.
Yes, most definitely. And that's what we found.
What did you have? What did you have going in?
I had the opposite. Well, I had McGregor in the second round. And
really?
I mean, a lot of people picked Conor McGregor to win this fight. Many of the experts had Conor McGregor that he was going to win this fight, get that rematch of Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I kind of followed suit. Now, I was a big fan of Dustin Poirier. I still am. I'm a huge fan of Dustin Poirier. I just felt that McGregor was going to get it done. He won the first fight, and I feel like if they do have a rematch, McGregor has a good chance walking out as the winner. But Dustin Poirier has made a case to be the number one lightweight in the world now. We'll see what Khabib Nurmagomedov, where that lies. But Dustin Poirier, to me, is an uncrowned champion 155 by being McGregor. And, there's no reason why he shouldn't be fighting for a title in his next fight.
Yeah, he definitely should be. It should be him and Oliveira, but apparently he doesn't want it, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He said Nate Diaz. I know Justin Gaethje might be possible. He's this guy who already beat already. And then Michael Chandler, I don't even think is close enough to warrant a title shot. But, yeah, when I saw that fight, I did see Conor, connecting on Dustin early on, and Dustin took it on the chin, kept going forward. And, if you're listening to his interview on the Hawani show, he was just ready for that fight. I mean, he was mentally prepared, and there was no animosity going into the fight, too. It was like Conor McGregor was too relaxed. So I don't know, unless Conor has that fire under him where he's spouting, different, you don't really see that, that aggression or come out early. I felt that it all came down to just that endurance of Dustin, like where he was able to wear out that first round. That second round, he goes in there, and that first round, arguably, he might have won, but in that second round, he just turned it on, and you could see that one point where Conor has over against the cage, he slips out, he takes the center of the octagon, and it was done from there. And I'm not sure what happened to Conor and how he dropped off. I would say he's at least a top 10 guy. You say top 20, but come on, man.
He's not. He's the most overrated. He's terrible. He's the most overrated fighter in the history of professional fighting. He's garbage. He's won one fight in 155 pounds. One fight his entire career, and you have him ranked in top 10? Give me a fucking break. That's disrespect. That's utter disrespect to the guys out there doing it every day.
Right.
Poirier won because he's got the best boxing in the entire sport. Definitely 155 pounds. And if Justin Gaethje couldn't knock him out, Conor McGregor ain't gonna knock him out.
Yeah. I mean, I see that
It is
point.
what it is.
Dustin is a good boxer, but you say boxing, right? Boxing is the point is not to get hit. Dustin takes a lot of shots for a guy who's supposed to be touted as the best boxer. I mean, defensive wise, he is not there as the top boxer. Maybe offensive wise, but
No,
I don't think defensive wise he's the best boxer.
no. You're right. He gets hit a ton.
Yeah, he does. I mean, for Conor McGregor at this point, you got to wonder, this guy doesn't need to fight ever again. So is his heart into it? Is he going to find the fire to come back in there? 8-week, 12-week training camp. I don't see it. I don't know what brings him back.
I think it makes most sense for them to do Conor
Yes.
and Diaz 3, but I don't know if they're it sounds like Poirier wants to do the McGregor rematch right away.
Yeah, he does. He also mentioned Diaz too. Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows what they're gonna do? Did you hear what Kenny Florian just said on his podcast?
No.
So Kenny Florian just said either today or yesterday, he just said that he heard from a reliable coach. His words were from a reliable coach in the game that GSP is training right now for a fight with Khabib.
Wow.
I don't know if it's true, but that's what Kenny Florian said. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So
that
who knows?
Be insane if that happened. I think that's one of the
biggest fight ever, right?
Yeah, and right. Remember, GSP was teasing something like huge news. Remember, he was showing off his physique and everything. Then we found out it was Bud Light Zero, like he was endorsing.
That's crazy.
You remember that? So it's just like that's just a few weeks removed, and at this point, GSP is denying anything. But you never know because he looks in the best shape he's ever been right now.
I know.
So that'd be a waste to let that physique go for nothing,
Yeah, he's still not too old. So I mean, hope's still out there, What did you think of the Chandler fight, dude?
Yeah, let's go over that. Well, I had Chandler winning this fight. I thought it was going to be a barn burner, a 3-round slugfest. But I thought Chandler was going to win majority of the exchanges, takedowns. He would have had him, obviously he would have had the takedown ratio would have been in his favor. And I felt like when he got on top, he was going to do damage. But I gave Dan the respect because of the fight with Poirier. I gave him that respect that he was not going to be finished. That you could literally throw anything at that kid. He will walk through fire and still be gone. Yeah, but Barbosa did finish him, and that was a unique finish. An
incredible war.
Right, but it was a credible war, and that's what I thought was going to happen with Chandler. And I thought, Dustin Poirier couldn't finish this guy, so I don't know about. I still had Chandler winning as the underdog. I thought the wrestling and then doing damage from the top game, and we've seen Chandler from Bellator. We know what Chandler's capable of. Maybe the traditional UFC fans, the UFC only guys, they don't. But wow, what a statement to come in there, first round finish, big knockout. And when he's on top, that damage is huge, just huge damage raining down from the top game, and that was it for Hooker, man. I did not see that. I don't think Hooker was himself in that fight either.
No, I mean it was such a short fight, but he definitely didn't look himself. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like I thought Chandler would probably grind out a decision, like convincing, like a nice convincing win. But holy crap, did he surprise? I mean, like you said, we all knew Chandler is elite. We knew that, like guys like me and you, we knew that, right? But boy, did he even surprise us, like, man, he's here. He's here.
Definitely. And he says he's ready to get back in there. He says as soon as next weekend.
You saw Oliveira turn down the fight with him.
Yeah.
I want to see Gaethje and Chandler.
I think that's a good fight. I think that's definitely a positive. I think you have Dustin Poirier kind of wait it out, take some time off, and then you can make a title fight. I mean, it depends where this Khabib situation goes, because I'm just assuming Khabib is not going to return. So at this point, so I'm moving without him. But of course, once he says he's back in the game, then that changes all our predictions of what will happen.
For sure.
But I think that Dustin Poirier lines himself up nicely for a title shot. He could be crowned a champion before his next fight. You know how they've done that before?
Yeah.
or it could just be vacant title on the line. And I don't think he'd argue either way. He's going to get the pay-per-view points. And Dustin Diamond Poirier, when he went to lightweight, amazing. Like,
Everything
amazing.
changed.
It was, yeah. It's just, I don't know why I didn't think Dustin could win this fight. I'm like this. I'm just shaking my head because I knew that Dustin was capable of, but it's just like, man, why did I go with Conor? You know, obviously.
Dude, Conor is okay. I can't stand the guy, but he is the best. He is the best that's ever lived at making you doubt yourself. Like, okay, I knew Floyd Mayweather was going to beat him, but I'll tell you, right before that fight started, I said, I don't know, man, McGregor might do it because he's so good at making you believe in him. The best that's ever lived. The best that ever lived at that.
Yeah, of course. He's got like the swag of the nature boy. You believe it, you know what I mean? The way he walks, he flings his arms around. I mean, it's just a whole nother level of that aura that he brings. And I feel that aura is tarnished now. I don't want to say he's done, but it's like, how can you warn him being the main event of a pay-per-view? You know? And that's all you can feature him as. So that's very limiting in that regard.
Or maybe now that they're doing fights on ABC, you know, maybe you do a big Saturday night ABC card with him. You pay him all his money to compensate for his pay-per-view point loss, but maybe you do something like that, and that'll be the most watched fight ever on TV if it's on free TV.
That's true.
They'll figure it out. But
that did wonders for That does wonders.
I was looking through the fights for this weekend, and I'll tell you, this is a sneaky good card.
Yes.
There's some good fights on it.
Yeah, let's get right into it, man. Well, first guy I want to talk about was Michael Johnson and Clay Guida, and that's the prelim. And I feel like that should be on the main card, but
I was going to ask you because the Marie Renault fight got canceled because she's got COVID.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Macy Chiasson and Marie Renault. Marie Renault's got COVID. I saw Eric Colwell from Miami News posted it.
Okay.
Just earlier, so that fight's off. So do you think they're going to move Guida and Michael Johnson to the main card now? Or do you think
they might do that. I'm on MMA Mania and I see the same thing that you told me. GSP is getting ready for a fight with Khabib.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that's all over now. That's crazy.
I heard it on Florian today. So.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Clay Florian mentioned
that. Who knows if it's true?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I hope so. That would be amazing. I see that it loses the second main card matchup. Renault is out due to COVID-19 against Macy Chiasson. And that just happened, a few hours ago.
But it's been rescheduled.
Yeah, it has been. But,
they rescheduled it, I think, 27th of February.
Okay. Man, this COVID thing is ridiculous when it comes to the fights, being changed and canceled. Yeah, so let's see what the changes are. I'm going to take a peek at they have updated the fight cards. And let's see here.
Yeah, I know on Tapology they didn't have it updated, but the UFC might have it updated.
Yeah, Askar is taking on. Oh, here's the lineup right here. Let me check it out. So it seems like as of this time, this is up. But this has been updated for a while. But it is Dariush versus Diego Ferreira, Stamen versus Askar, Manuel Cape versus Alexandra Pantoja, Frankie Edgar versus Sandhagen, Alistair Overeem versus Volkov. So Clay Guida and Michael Johnson is still on the undercard.
All right, we can still talk about it though, because that's a great fight.
Yeah, I want to say that this is one of those fights that it's a tough one to pick, man. Clay Guida has been like a great fighter, just like from the Illinois area, you gotta love seeing this guy perform, and he's just one of those guys that I've never seen him in a fight not bring it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. How has this fight not happened yet?
That's a good question. I mean, you would think it would have happened. I know that Clay Guida went down in weight. He went down to 145 a few years ago, and then he came back when he beat Zhao Laozan. So he came back and he lost to Charles Oliveira in Chicago. Remember that one?
Yep.
And then that was his last fight at light. And then he stayed at lightweight after that. He beat BJ Penn. That's his last fight. When he beat BJ Penn, that's his last win. Jim Miller and Bobby Green are two straight losses. And it's not the best looking for him, but Michael Johnson's facing a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah, Johnson's lost 6 of 8, and Guida's lost 4 of 5. So this is anybody's,
Yeah, it is. I'm going with Clay Guida in this fight. He's got that tenacity, and when his back is up against the wall, I think he brings out the best performances. Johnson is dangerous. Like, he's a dangerous guy. I mean, look at Johnson's last fight. Did you see his last fight? He was winning that fight until he was finished. Like, literally, it was a freaky, a finish. You know what I mean? Thiago Moises. Remember that? He was winning that first round, and then second round he gets the ankle lock, 25 seconds. Yeah. And that's
Johnson, dude. He almost KO'd Justin Gaethje. Remember in his debut?
Yes, in the debut, and he beat Khabib Nurmagomedov. He gave him a tough fight. One of the toughest opponents, in his start to the title. And another thing about Johnson is he has 7 months after that loss to Thiago Moises. 7 months of being pissed off. 7 months of wanting to take his aggression out on somebody. I mean, with that, I think he probably was injured after the ankle lock. I'm not sure why he wasn't back in the cage sooner. Right. But he's got 7 months of pent-up anger and frustration, and he's going to unleash it. And although I do want to side with Clay Guida, I do understand Michael Johnson's standpoint. Like, he's going to get in there to mow down somebody.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think Guida gets it done. I think he'll get it done with a decision.
Yeah, I think he's going to grind out Johnson, take him down. It seems like Johnson – he has good wrestling when it's like against really good grapplers, but then he kind of gets into this thing where he wants to slugfest with guys, Yeah. And that's not going to work with Guida. I think Guida's going to look to be the aggressor, take him down. I think Guida doesn't mind mixing it up in the feet. And, I think Clay Guida needs to just change up stuff, like, how come Clay Guida never goes to Rufus Sport? And it's like so close to where he lives. Why don't you just go there and train there and get some rounds in or something,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's at now. And is he still a Team Alpha Male?
I don't know. He was at Jackson's for a while. He was at Alpha. I mean, he's all over the place. He's a wild man, dude.
He is. Definitely one of those guys that you never want to forget. Like, he's Clay Guida is like in a fight, that guy will bring it. He'll bring his heart out. And I think one of his biggest wins was over BJ Penn recently, that unanimous decision. Mm-hmm. So I think he's tough. I think he's a durable guy, and Johnson will have his hands full. Johnson will have his hands full that night.
I think this next fight could be fight of the probably will be fight of the night.
And you're talking about Dariush and
Diego Ferreira.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a fight.
That's a great fight.
It is. And Dariush, man, this guy has just come a long way since we've seen him first debut in UFC. I mean, his toughest loss was to Michael Chiesa. He got finished by him. But since that fight, he came back, he's won. Unfortunately, he got finished by Barboza and then Alexander Hernandez. But since those 2 losses, he's come back and he's won 5 straight, including Drew Dober.
Yep.
Dober, a second round armbar.
Yep, and Diego is on a 6-fight win streak, so something's gonna give here.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I mean, that division is so deep. They go deep in that division.
Check this out, Beneil Dariush. He's been in the game forever, right? It seems like we've been watching it. He's only 31 years old.
I know, that's crazy.
He's arguably just hitting his best years.
Yeah, I got to meet him and interview him a few years ago, like 6 years ago. I interviewed him.
And then, do you know Diego Ferreira? He's 17-2, right?
Yeah.
His only losses are to Dustin Poirier and Beneil Dariush.
Wow.
So this is a crazy fight, bro.
Yeah. And this is a rematch, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One of those 2 losses is from Beneil.
Oh, okay. That was a while ago. That was a decision loss. Yeah.
Long while ago.
Wow. Wow. So something, yeah, these guys know each other pretty well. So I don't think it's going to be a quick of a fight as Beneil is used to. I mean, Beneil, he got a first round spinning back fist in his last fight. And Overeem left in the fight before that, UFC 248. And a rear naked choke, an armbar, and then a decision. So when you go down there, he's been putting together striking. Like, he's a BJJ guy, and it's sick what he's done with his striking game. Like, he's elevated that because he trains, with some tough guys out there,
Yeah, I'm
So,
more excited.
King's
I'm
MMA.
more excited about this fight than maybe any other fight on the card. I think Beneil will get it done again. I think this is probably going to be fight of the night. I think it'll be a great fight, but I think he'll just do a little bit more in the end,
Yeah, I'm going with Beneil Dariush on this one as well. I'm
Awesome.
giving him probably unanimous decision, but you never know. That finish is there, and he's put together his striking game really well. So I really enjoy seeing him do that. The next fight we have is Askar, 11-1. He steps up to the UFC. He's going to be making that his debut on the main card against Cody Stamann. And Askar, he hasn't fought since LFA. He beat Kevin Worth at LFA 92 by unanimous decision. I don't know if you've seen his fights before UFC.
Yeah, I've watched many of his fights.
He's a former HFC bantamweight champion as well. And he lost that title to another guy who's probably going to see in UFC one day, and that is Syed Kahramanov. You know him?
No,
Syed Yaqub. Oh, yeah. He's tough, man. He trains with Mike Santiago over there at Team Top Notch. He lost in the first round, 39 seconds. And then I was at that fight. That was like the last MMA event I ever went to live. And then he fought Kevin Worth and he beat him by decision. I think he's a game fighter. This is not the ideal matchup. Going 5 days notice against Cody Stamann. If this was like the regional circuit, Stamann it'd be like number one in Michigan, and this would be a mismatch in the regional circuit. So in the UFC, it's just more of a mismatch. And I have confidence in Askar that he's going to put on a great performance. It's just hard to argue with the success. You know what I mean? And I hate to pick against the local guys. I had a big mistake of doing that once. I got called out on it.
Hey, it happens, I mean.
Yeah, but when you're at the UFC level, that's why I don't pick regional fights anymore, but I only pick UFC. And that was actually a Bellator, but it was a Bellator undercard, so it's just pretty much a regional fight. But I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed. Well, it was it was two guys I had on my show. It was Bellator in 2018 in Chicago, and it was I don't know if you were sitting next to me or whatnot. It was that fight was Adil Benjelani and Corey Jackson. I had picked Corey Jackson to beat Adil, and Adil won.
Oh. And he beat the brakes off him, didn't he? Beneil beat the brakes off him?
Yeah, it was a one-sided fight. Adil came by, and he saw me, a media roll. He's like, "You doubt me. You doubt me." He shook my hand, but he said, "You doubt me." Man. Yeah, exactly. But that's just funny. I was like, "I'll never doubt you again." But so Felice Herrig, she looked over behind me. She's like, "What is that about?" And then I never forget, Ed Soares was sitting there too. And he's like, fighters are like elephants.
It's true.
Because I explained to Felice, he was on my show, and I didn't pick him. And I kind of like just briefly told Felice that, and that's what Ed Soares said to me.
I had Mike Jackson call me out.
Oh, you picked CM Punk over Mike Jackson?
No.
Oh.
I didn't pick him at all. But I said on one of my tweets, I said Jackson won the fight, but I said you can make a case that CM Punk won one of them rounds.
Really?
And he went, bro. He was mad. He was mad at me, bro. I had him back on, and we squat. I was like, man, I'm like, I told him why I thought that, and it was cool. But he was upset about that.
I know.
I was like, you can case that he won one of those rounds. I don't know. I was just, doing my job, trying to stir up controversy.
You do that more than I do. So, yeah, it's just, but just to get back to that, like, Oscar, I think he's going to have a good performance. I just think Cody Stamann is really at that level. He wants to move up there. I mean, his last fight was against Jimmy Rivera, that unanimous decision loss. Yep. That had a sting. I mean, you talk about a guy now, waiting 5 months to get back in there. Well, it's going to accumulate. He's just going to want to take his rage out on Askar. And, obviously he's being Brian Keller is doing a lot better now since that loss. Mm-hmm. And Alejandro Perez, his losses are to tough guys, like number one contenders or close to number one contenders, like Aljamain Sterling. So it's just, he's on the cusp of breaking through the top 3 of that division. And I don't know. I just don't see Askar being I don't think it's a fair matchup for Askar in his first UFC fight, but you never know.
No, it's really gonna be tough for Askar. I got Stamann, and it's criminal where they have Stamann ranked. He's not even ranked in the top 20. It's criminal. It's criminal. They have him ranked like 55.
Really? What about the UFC rankings?
He's not even ranked in the UFC rankings.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I always thought he was ranked.
It's criminal.
Yeah, that is.
He's got wins over, like you said. So.
Yeah, he has wins over tough guys too. So, I mean, is Brian Kelleher ranked?
His only losses.
Right.
Are to Jimmy Rivera and Aljamain.
Right. What about Brian Kelleher? Is he ranked in the rankings?
I'm not sure. I
know he's been winning fights.
Yeah, didn't he drop weight and he's been crushing people.
Yeah, he's done it. He's been really
knocking people. Yeah, he
went up in weight. He went up to featherweight.
Did he go up? Okay.
Yeah, his last fight was at featherweight against Ray Rodriguez, and he won by guillotine choke.
He changed something, and he's been crushing it ever since.
Yeah. And he's fighting Ricky Simone next.
I like Ricky Simone a lot.
Yeah, same here. Both of these guys are
good.
Definitely, but I think Stamann is going to beat him by decision. I mean, how about you? You think it's going to be a finish?
Yeah. No, I think it'll probably be a decision.
You do too. So you think Askar is just tough enough to grind to stay in there the whole time, or is it more be like Cody Stamann, not really trying to do anything too risky?
I think he'll be tough enough to gut out. I think it's going to be a bad night for Askar, but I think he's tough enough to gut it out.
Yeah, I think Askar is going to be tough enough, and Cody Stamann again. I think he moves up in that division and give him some opportunities.
Yeah.
Obviously, bantamweight division there's a lot of tough guys out there, and he deserves some more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we'd like to see that fight against Andre Ewell. So that could possibly happen again. Here's another fight for you at the flyweight division: Alexandre Pantoja versus Manel Kape. How do you feel about this one?
Honestly, I'm not too excited about this fight, but I really like Pantoja. I think he's a solid fighter. I think Pantoja's gonna win the fight. I don't know too much about Kape. He's making his UFC debut in this fight. I know that much, but I know he's ranked number 6, and I think that he's close to a shot with this win. I think he's close to a title shot.
Yeah, that they flew Manel Kape in for, I believe it was UFC 256. The Davison Figueroa, the fight, Davison Figueroa and who's the other guy he just fought? It was a close fight. It was a 5 rounds.
Not Alex.
Not Alex Perez. The other
Moreno.
They brought Cap in just to be the alternate in case something happened on fight night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what I heard. He's brought in just in case they needed someone. So he's taking on Pantoja. He's a guy that's had success and risen. He's had 3 finishes in a row there. You know, he's definitely tough, man. I mean, Ryzen is not an easy promotion to make your, you know, to make your way in. But Pantoja has just had more experience at the higher level. You know, he's had big wins like over Matt Schnell by first round. He's lost to the champion Davison Figueroa.
Yep.
You know,
he went 3 hard rounds with him.
Yeah. Well, he's had wins over Wilson Race, and he has a win over Brandon Moreno.
Yep.
So back in May of 2018, who was the number 1 contender who fought that hellacious fight. That was a great fight, wasn't it?
That was incredible.
We go back and look at that one. Who did you think won that fight?
You know, at the time watching it, I was kind of wrapped up in the moment. You know, I think that Davidson Figueiredo probably won, but I only watched it that one time live. So
yeah,
if someone scored it for Moreno, I wouldn't be upset because that kid gave. I mean, you could easily make a case that kid won that fight. You know, easily.
True. Definitely. I think the eye pokes made the fight closer than it should have been. Like the legal stuff, because they took a point from Figueroa. I don't know. I really don't think that other guy did enough to take the belt.
Yeah,
they made it a draw because of the point deduction. I mean, not to take anything away, Moreno is tough as nails, and that fight does warrant a rematch. But I just don't think he won that one.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think Pantoja wins this one. You're going to give him with a knockout or a decision?
I think he'll knock him out.
Knock him out. Next up, we have Sandhagen and Edgar at the bantamweight division. And you know, you talk about the division being tough, man. Sandhagen is just coming off a brutal loss in his last fight, right?
No, he won.
Oh, he won.
He had that spinning wheel kick.
The spinning wheel, right? That was I was thinking about the Aljamain Sterling fight.
That was bad.
Yeah, but the spinning wheel kick. Frankie Edgar is a guy that comes into this fight. You know, he is looking to make himself the new bantamweight contender. You know, he had that fight with Pedro Munoz, a really close one. He won by split decision in that fight. And, you know, since moving down to bantamweight, how do you feel Frankie Edgar has performed?
I love Frankie, man. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best ever. He's ranked number 10 here. Sandhagen's ranked number 3. I think Frankie's going to take his spot. I think he gets it done with a split decision. I think he finds a way to get it done, dude. He's the answer. I mean, Sandhagen's freaking amazing. The kid's so talented, but I feel like Frankie Edgar will find a way to get it done, and we'll be talking about him on Monday morning. I don't know. What do you think of this? Frankie's tough, and so is Cory. It's just one of those fights. Like, you know, Frankie Edgar, he can make it a dog fight, like we did with Pedro Munoz. You know, when he strikes with guys, he seems to have that volume. You know, that they really can't match. So we'll see if Cory Sandhagen wants to get in that slugfest or kind of wants to exchange with him. On the ground, he's going to be tough. You know, you can't really control Frankie Edgar on the ground. We've not really seen anybody have their way with Frankie Edgar on the ground. So I don't know. Maybe that negates the jiu-jitsu offense of Cory Sandhagen at this point. Maybe he's hoping he can get a knockdown and go for a submission for a finish. But I don't think you want to take this fight to the ground against Frankie Edgar. Unless he's hurt, and then you know that you have a probable finish. Right. Frankie is tough. I have to go with Frankie Edgar on this one. I just think this guy, no matter how many times you count him out, he always comes back and he beats guys. Think about the fight with Ray Maynard.
Yes, exactly. Think about that fight.
Both fights.
Both of those fights. And then he came back and knocked out the bigger guy. Even his fight with Yair, people thought he was being fed to Yair Rodriguez. No, Yair was in trouble that whole fight before he was finished. Frankie Edgar is tough, man. He's just a brutal guy when he gets on top. I think the move in the weight class really didn't take that much from him as we thought it would. I still think he has the power in the hands. I think he's still durable. I still think he's got a lot of the attributes that makes him great. I feel like, why didn't he do this sooner? You know?
Yeah, right.
I think he should have made the featherweight drop sooner. Then he should have made this one sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because he was the original guy that would walk around and fight at what he walked at. He was doing that 20 years ago, you know?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Definitely, man. And, you know, his biggest fight to date, I believe, was against Jose Aldo, UFC 200. And that has to be about 5 years of just contemplation. Like, man, that was my opportunity. That was my opportunity to beat the best in the world and walk out that belt. And I think that's motivation ever since. I don't think he's lost that motivation from, from what is it, 5 years ago? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that he says that fight, he laid an egg. It was all on him. There was no excuses, but he's never wants to go through that again in his career.
I don't think he will. I think he gets it done. I think Sandhagen is tremendous. I can't say enough great things about him. I think Frankie could go down as one of the, you know, if you're going to make a Mount Rushmore, I think, you know, he's in the conversation for one of those places. I believe that's just how good I believe he is. You know?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, so many great performances, you know, so many great times you just see him come out there, you know. I mean, his fight with Cub Swanson, oh my God, he just decimated him. He's a diehard motherfucker. It's Frankie Edgar.
and you never hear he's never in a scandal. You never hear any bad words about him. No one ever, you know, just he's been a good ambassador for the sport too, you know.
Oh yeah, a good family man, and yeah, we need more guys like that in the sport. You know, we need less of the Mike Perrys and all the other trash that comes through here, you know.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Conor McGregor has its trash talking and all his incidents, you know what I mean? And John Jones, we don't even want to get started on that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if I was John Jones, I would look up to a guy like Frankie Edgar. I'd be like calling him for advice. Like, how do you keep clean? How have you done it all these years? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I would think so, because it's just like, you know, John Jones never know what's going to happen. When he has a fight scheduled, all bets are off. I'm always thinking that the fight's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
You know, it's just like, I still haven't forgiven, because I actually got a ticket to UFC 200. I still haven't forgiven him for putting out the fight with DC, the main event. And I was looking forward to seeing them the first time. Yeah, we could have gotten refunds, but we still went, and still was probably one of the biggest UFCs I've been to, but it just wasn't the same without that.
That was the yellow mat, right?
Yes, the yellow mat. I loved it. Yeah. Then they had, I don't know if they saw it on TV, but they had, the octagon was covered by like huge screens in between the fights. I can share you that video. So they would bring the screens down whenever they played a video. The screens would cover the octagon.
Why?
It was crazy, because they wanted like to be like the highlight of UFC 200 and everything. It was their first event in T-Mobile, and we paid a astronomical amount. Yeah, it was the UFC's first event in T-Mobile Arena. We paid an astronomical amount for that. It was a big vacation, and but yeah, literally, you could see it on if you go on my Facebook or like look at my past, you can see there's like 4 screens that they fill the octagon.
Wow.
On each side. So yeah, so they cover the octagon whenever they had like some special thing to play and stuff like that. Whenever between like the fights where the fighters are talking, they would cover the cage for that. I thought it would be something they would keep doing. So yeah, that was really awesome. And I mean, I think, you know, when you go back and look at those moments with Frankie Edgar, you know, those title fights, man, he did it. Like there was a reason why he was that champion for the years he was. You know, obviously. Yeah, obviously, you know, he did lose that belt, you know, but I feel like he was definitely one of those guys that definitely he defined his era in the sport, you know.
Didn't he lose it to Benson in a real close fight?
Yes, he lost it. It was a very close fight in Japan.
Both of them were.
Then the both of them. And the second one, people argued that he had won the fight. So yeah,
there's that.
Yeah. So I mean, whoever wins, Poirier, Aljamain Sterling, they might be looking at this fight because Frankie Edgar could be number one contender after this one.
He could be.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got like the Rocky Balboa aura to him, you know? Just walking in there, fearless. Yeah.
Except he's
undersized. Yes. Then we'll continue and look at the main event, of course. We're excited for that one. And I feel like this is going to be one of those fights in the heavyweight division. It could be either really exciting or really kind of dull. I mean, how do you feel about this one? It's either going to be one of those that's like a quick finish, it's got like a lot of action in the first round, or it could be one that just drags on. Have you ever remember a heavyweight fight that was competitive for all 5 rounds? When was the last time?
It's been a long time. The one that stands out to me, wasn't there? What was the one fight with Bigfoot Silva? Who did he fight? Remember, it was a 5-round incredible.
Oh, yeah. Was that Mark Hunt?
Mark Hunt, Bigfoot. That's the last 5-round. That was incredible, right? But that's the last one I could think of.
Yeah, I really can't think of any that were really credible either. It's just, I mean, we sought to see DC and Stipe go to distance the last 2 times, but I don't think they were that.
That wasn't incredible though.
No, that wasn't that incredible.
I used to be a huge Overeem fan. And I still admire him. I'm still a fan of him, but I used to be a really big fan of Overeem back when he was on the juice more so.
Right.
He never really could take a shot, but it seems like now he's been dropped in the last 10 fights, at least dropped. He just can't take them like he used to.
No.
And Volkov, he doesn't look like he generates a lot of power, Volkov, but he's got really good technique, and he knows how to use his length and his leverage, and that in turn creates power. So I don't think it's going to be a good night for Alistair. I don't see how he beats Volkov.
Yeah, that can be argued as well. His last fight, he did take some shots against Augusto Sakai, even
that was,
and even in Walt Harris. Walt Harris almost, came out of the
that was a wild fight.
Right, that was wild, but those were shorter fights, Yeah. And I think that this fight will go 5 rounds if it's Volkov really picking him apart. Volkov is a guy that doesn't really finish early. He gets like those late finishes, but that comes back to haunt him. Like he got he had that fight with Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and he lost that fight in that last round. It was a fight that he probably won on the scorecards. For
in the last 3 seconds, he lost.
Exactly. And then, he's picked apart guys like Greg Hardy. He defeated Walt Harris. He knocked him out in the last fight. That was October of this year against Walt Harris. And poor Walt just can't really seem to get that win, But anyways, besides that, I just think that this is a time that, he's going to play it safe against Overeem. He knows what Overeem's strengths are. He knows Overeem clinches you, he can do a lot of damage. If Overeem, gets on top mount, he can do a lot of damage. So he's going to avoid that. I think he's going to play a very smart, very elusive striking battle. Very technical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I definitely
do you think Volkov by decision, you think?
I'm thinking decision, maybe a late finish. We could see like late 4th, early 5th round if it's there. If Overeem's gassing, it might be one of those things where he knocks down Overeem. Overeem is still up. He gets on top and just throws some light pepper punches, but that's just enough because Overeem's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like Overeem is kind of quit at that point, and we've seen Overeem at that point where he quit.
Yeah, he quit.
You know what I mean?
He definitely quit.
Does quit. I think he quit against Stipe. Against Curtis, I'm not quite sure because those are some hard shots. But I felt like he quit against Stipe.
Bigfoot. Remember what Bigfoot did to him?
Yes. Yeah, he definitely quit in that one.
That was ugly.
Yeah, it was.
I'm with you. I think Volkov probably TKO, KO, third round, but I'm about 95% sure about that. But I'm gonna leave 5% wiggle room for Alistair Overeem pulling a submission victory off. He has more submission victories than he does knockout victories.
That's crazy.
Going back to his younger days, of course, because he was a machine. He is very proficient. He doesn't use it. He doesn't use it because he's so skilled at striking, as you mentioned.
Right.
So I'll say there's a little room. Maybe I could see Alistair pulling a submission off, but I think that likely it's going to be Volkov beating him down.
Well, I mean, I looked at his last 4 victories, and his last 4 victories are all finishes, either by ground and pound or one was a knee and ground and pound. So he's a ground and pound finisher. Like his last 4, the last time he went to decision was against Fabricio Verdum. So that was back in 2017.
For Volkov?
No, for Alistair. So he's had some TKO finishes that really are. I think that's where when he gets on top and he can just unleash the demolition man. That's where Volkov needs to be careful.
Yeah, I'm talking about off his back.
Off his back. I haven't really seen that recently, but maybe probably.
Most of his submissions come from his years like in. Pride.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Then he had some nice finishes back then. Yeah, I just think it just comes down to Volkov playing this game like a kickboxer. You know what I mean? Gain that reach. Just playing kickboxing for most of the fight. He just got to avoid the clinch of Overeem. If he can clinch Overeem up and do some damage, that's going to be great. And then, like I said, I think it's more like things he knocks him down and then he would get like a submission or something. But I think overall it's safe to say decision, but you never know. Volkov could get that late finish like he's done before. So.
Yes, he could.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just sometimes you see guys and they think they're so confident. They're weighing the judge's scorecard. The fight goes in the 5th round, and that's just all it takes to overturn that. And they lose because the guy gets a huge knockout or a huge submission. So I'll never count Overeem out of this fight. I just wonder, like, how many more years does this guy have left to offer us in his career?
Not too many if he keeps getting knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, I just think at this point, the heavyweight division is going to be rejuvenated when we have more contenders. We're going to have John Jones moving up to heavyweight. And I know it's a big roam, but you have to admit you're intrigued by it as long as he can stay out of trouble. We all are, right? I think that the whole landscape of this division will change when John Jones moves up. Just like if Adesanya, defeats Jan Blachowicz, that whole light heavyweight division will change because Adesanya is never going to want to go back to middleweight after that.
It's going to be crazy.
It is, and I just think you got 2 of the biggest names in this game. Jumping up weight classes, they could possibly fight each other in 2020. Dana White says he wants to see John Jones versus Adesanya, and that would presumably be at light heavyweight. I mean, we all want to see that fight.
Everybody is pretty much writing Blachowicz off, and I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
But there's a big part of me that thinks, man, Blachowicz might just end all of this Izzy hype.
Yeah.
He might do that.
That's true. And
that would be
that would be. But that's the intrigue. That's what we have to find out. I mean, that's why they make these fights happen. Is that's the ultimate litmus test.
That's why they don't have a team of creative people to figure out what.
Exactly. I was going to mention that too. That's why you only book the card, but you don't book the outcome.
Right.
Obviously Adesanya would knock out Blachowicz if that was the case,
Yes.
But he might be tasting the mat. And listen, if he does, he still can go back to middleweight. We've seen that with Max Holloway when he went up to lightweight, still went back to featherweight, although he wasn't the same after that. It's just, they can go back to their divisions. For John Jones, I think it's heavyweight or he's done. I don't think he's going to go back to light heavyweight.
No. I think he gets it done at heavyweight, though, man. I can't wait to see him versus Ngannou.
Me too. So you're thinking Ngannou will beat Stipe, or is this you just potentially can't wait for that one?
You know, that's another one, man, where I feel like people are writing Stipe off a little quick. He's already beaten him. Stipe could maybe beat him again, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But anything's happened. I am riding with Ngannou for that one, but that could always change.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
He has addressed a lot of those issues.
He has. We'll see. It could be a first round knockout. It could be Stipe 5 rounds. It could be Ngannou 5 rounds. We don't know. It's just it's just
if it goes past, like, if it goes into the third, I gotta go with Stipe. But
me too.
Man, those first 10 minutes are just so goddamn dangerous against Francis.
Yeah, that's an exciting fight though. It's exciting to see what that rematch will bring. And again, John Jones awaiting the winner. This is beautiful. Just to have that depth, added depth with John Jones in that division. And I'm just potentially so many great matches you could make with John Jones. Once that division, once you bring more talent in as well,
Yeah, they will.
They have to bring more talent to the heavyweight division. It's been kind of like beer,
Yeah, I think they will.
Could you imagine if they got Ryan Bader back? Could you imagine if they went ahead and just got a bunch of talent from Bellator and brought them over to heavyweight for the heavyweight division?
Yeah. There's some good fighters there. They have some good fighters.
There are, yeah. So
I can't wait for them to get back going with regular fights.
I know, me too. Have you done the media for them? I actually did the virtual media.
No, I haven't. They send me stuff all the time. I just haven't.
I'm signed up for their virtual media, so I've done them because I used to work night shift, now working day shift, so I get my nights free and I can talk to them and whatnot. So
nice.
I can do like the post fight stuff and actually because that's the reason why to be honest with you, I was never huge into Bellator because I would be working when the fights were happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except for the ones in Chicago. Those were I had taken off days to do the coverage, but those were always on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I missed those fights when we had, Bellator in Chicago. That was amazing.
I know. I'm looking for, man, PFL was cool too, but now they're just doing, COVID changed everything. So.
Did you know the sad note? Did you know that Mike Ditka's closed where we on Oak Street? Where we had they closed permanently with the COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sad.
We did. That was just the 1 year they did it there, though, right?
No, they did it 2 years in a row. They did it for
2 years. They did it there.
They might. I don't know. No, I think the first year they did it in the Sears Tower.
Yes. First.
I didn't go to that one, and then the last two were at Ditka's, and they shut down Ditka's permanently.
Well. A lot more closings coming too with the president.
I know, man. We don't have to go there, but yeah, and for sure, man. Well, I appreciate you, Mike. If there's anything else you want to add, please tell us how we can follow you and everything like that.
All my social media is at Chi-Town Hustle. You can find me there, and I just purchased the domain name Chi-Town Hustle. There's nothing there yet, but pretty soon I'll have my portfolio and booking information and shit like that up there.
Awesome. Everybody check out fightlete.com. If you haven't, click the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. Check out fightlete.com for all exclusive MMA articles as well. We're doing now betting articles, betting predictions. So betting odds. So make sure to get on that for UFC Fight Night Vegas 18 and all my interviews on the YouTube channel. Just hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys, checking out the Fightlete Report. This is Talkin Shop, of course. With Mike Straus, we appreciate you being on, brother, and we'll have you on again. We got more stuff coming up in the future, so we looking forward to hearing your insight. Take it easy, brother. Enjoy the fight Saturday.
Thanks. You too. Thanks, brother.